There's a new me coming out, and I just have to live, and I wanna give. I'm completely positive. I think this time around I am gonna do it like you never knew it. Oh, I'll make it through. The time has come for me to break out of the shell. I have to shout that I am coming out.
Welcome to the show Never Too Late Ever, where we focus on making your chapter of your life the very best chapter ever. I am your host, Lorraine Hoving from It's About Time, and I am so glad you are joining us today. This day could change your life. Open your heart, your ears, and listen. And this week I have Amy back, and one of the things we left talking about was gratitude and perseverance. So I'm stopping here because I believe somebody in this audience needs to hear today about gratitude and perseverance. Whatever you're going through, you can make it. Amy and I are here for you. We are proven examples of people that have been through hard things and made it out the other side. So let me tell you a little bit about Amy. But first of all, hi, Amy. How are you today?
I'm doing so good. Thank you so much for having me back. This is a lot of fun. And you're right. I love this next journey that I'm in. I'm so excited about helping people. So thank you for putting my name in that sentence with your name. Super grateful for that.
Thank you, Amy. Amy Lacey, this is so excited because I just love her product and I've ate it for years. Amy Lacey is the founder of Cali'flour Foods. She believes that eating healthy should taste as good as it makes you feel. Most people are tired of sacrificing flavor for health. That is why she developed the first no mess, no stress cauliflower pizza crust that actually satisfies your cravings so you can maintain your healthy lifestyle. Amy is one of the 23.5 million people suffering from autoimmune disease. After being diagnosed with lupus in 2010, she realized she needed to change her eating habits. With that in mind, she set out to recreate foods that no longer worked for her. She measured the success of the products by her inflammatory reactions and finally came up with healthy and delicious alternatives to some of her favorites. From that journey, Cali'flour Foods was born. Amy, I've got a question on that. How did you go about when you created how did you even come up with the idea? Once you started creating the crust, how did you come up with the idea and a plan? Because I'm just thinking, okay, you created this, and then how did you come up with the business idea, and where did you go to find all that out? I'm just curious.
Yeah, that's a really long answer, but let me give you a little bit of a background. When I started making the pizza, it was literally to bring some normalcy back to my family. So in the show last week, I described a little bit about having my 3 children and which I still have, by the way. It made it sound like I didn't have them anymore. And I wanted to bring back some normalcy to their life. And we used to do family fun Friday night, pizza night, and game night. And so that's why I was looking for a pizza that I could eat. And that's where I discovered the cauliflower pizza. And I discovered it as a recipe online. And I went out, bought all the ingredients. Like I said, I never bought cauliflower, so it was new to me to even cook with cauliflower. Made the recipe. It was a disaster. Made it again. And finally, on the 4th or 5th time, I was able to perfect the recipe. And my daughter actually was helping me make it. And then at the time, when I was bringing back some normalcy to our family, really back then we were playing like Candyland and watching Disney movies. Now we still have Friday night family fun night often, and it's much more advanced games. Like we love to play Catan and still eat pizza. And I'm still eating a grain-free pizza. There's so many choices now, but there weren't back then, 10 years ago. So we loved it, and I knew I was onto something. And so I started serving it at healthy happy hours with my other health coaches.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I was a life and health coach. After getting myself well, after a couple years in 2013, I started being a life and health coach. By 2014, we were serving the cauliflower pizza crust at healthy happy hours. And then in 2016, one of my health coaches and one of my clients convinced me to take it to farmers market. So we launched it at farmers market, and a couple local stores picked it up. And then what really made it hugely successful was I told one of my clients' stories online on Facebook, and it went viral. And the story was talking about making my customer the hero, but I didn't even realize what I was doing at the time. I just was so inspired by her journey. And her name was Jessie, and she had a daughter named Kenzie. And Kenzie was nonverbal autistic, and Jessie was an obese mom of 4 kids. And the doctor had put Kenzie on a low-carb diet. Actually, what we call keto now. Back then, they didn't call it keto, but Jessie called me and said, look, Kenzie loves pizza. I want to try your crust.
Wow.
Could you send me some? And so I sent it, and she's like, this is amazing. Kenzie will actually eat it. I'm having a hard time getting her to eat low carb. And the only way Kenzie would eat is if Jessie sat down with her. So 7 months goes by, and we have been sending crust like crazy to them, not really getting any updates. And one day Jessie calls me and says, hey, Kenzie has started talking, and she's going to be accepted to public school with an aid. And Amy, in 7 months, I've lost 169 pounds eating low carb.
Oh my goodness.
And we used your crust not only for pizza, but we used it to replace toast in the morning. We used it to replace bread and sandwiches. And we're just so grateful. And I told that story online on Facebook, and it went viral. And so the month of January 2017, that story went viral, and so did our sales. And we sold more in January of 2017 direct to consumer online than we had the entire year of 2016, the entire year of being in grocery stores and at farmers market. Wow. And it never slowed down. It never slowed down after that.
Yeah.
Ironically,
the power of the internet. Yeah. Pardon?
The power of a lot of prayer, a lot of perseverance, and the internet. Yes.
Yeah. So if somebody in the audience wants to look that up, can they look that up? What would they look under?
For that story, they would, I don't know if you can find that story. I'm sure you could. You would look up probably Jessie Baldwin and Cali'flour Foods. And there's been a lot of stories. There's a lot of stories. Since then, we learned the power of story and talking about our product through other people's success. And this is a great marketing tip for anyone that's running a business. Instead of always talking about yourself or your product, talk about other people and the success they're having with your service or your product. Their success will sell more for you than you just talking about it. And you already know that, but some people don't know that, they just talk about their products and themselves, and they need to be more interested than interesting. Right. So yeah, that's how it started. And by the end of 2017, we had over 1,000% growth. And then 2018, it continued to grow massively. And through that, I learned a lot. So my long answer to your question is, I didn't come up with a business plan. It wasn't a business that I intended where it is today. It literally organically happened. And I grew with it as it grew.
I love that it started at farmers markets. I don't know why. That's just like, it started from the individuals who liked it. You know what I mean? It wasn't this organically, like you said. Somebody liked it. And then, So I would love you to tell our audience what other testimonials that you've seen from people that go off. Is it off the grains, or what is it that makes such an impact? Because they're off flour?
So inflammation wreaks havoc on people's lives. And I do have two incredible stories of two other kids. Kids really touch my heart, and kids seem to really make a huge impact in other people's lives as well. As far as these stories go, we had a mom that reached out to us. Her son was Gavin. He was diagnosed with a brain tumor, and the doctor put him on low carb diet to relieve some of the inflammation. And so he started eating our pizza along with all of these people were eating other products, not just our products. So I'm not trying to say our product cures diabetes or cancer or anything like that, but this low carb anti-inflammatory diet is really helpful. And so he's actually free of any tumors now. He's doing really well. His mom updates the company on a regular basis. We had a little girl that actually was diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. Now, that's kind of rare now because usually it's juvenile diabetes, it's type 1. But now we have kids in the United States that have type 2 diabetes, which is caused by obesity. And so a lot of doctors are unfortunately putting kids on a lower carb diet so that they can lose weight and not be a diabetic. I mean, 10 years ago, kids did not have diabetes, or at least we didn't know about it unless it was type 1. And now we've got all these kids with type 2, and it's just very rare. So we were able to provide crust to this family, and along with our product as well as many other products, this girl was able to lose weight and no longer be a diabetic, which was huge. So we have a lot of stories like that. There's a lot of diabetics that eat our product because there is no other pizza crust they can eat. We have no added sugar. And so for type 2 diabetes, this is a great product. All the products are great that we have.
Right.
And again, for my case, for anyone with autoimmune, inflammation it's terrible. And we talk about COVID, we talk about why the United States is suffering so much more than other countries. And a lot of it obviously is our population, but it's also our obesity and the inflammation that is caused from obesity. And a lot of that is from white refined flour and sugar, and the process of refining that flour and the chemicals and the added, hydrogen, all the different things that we put into our products that to make them edible and to last longer on a shelf wreaks havoc on your body.
Right. And inflammation is a serious thing because it's the leading cause of all diseases, isn't it? I mean, once you start having inflammation, it just leads to so many other things.
It really does. So if inflammation is bothering you, you may not even realize it. I didn't realize it 10 years ago. You couldn't see outwardly signs of inflammation. You can now. If I eat the wrong thing, my hands will swell up and they hurt and they get arthritic. But 10 years ago, I didn't see that.
So what would be the signs of inflammation? Like you said, would be a little bit of the swelling and maybe kind of an achiness. I'm not sure.
Achiness, brain fog. There's a lot of brain fog with inflammation. Definitely swelling. Almost edema-like. And if you're younger and you're thinner, you probably aren't going to see that. You might see, if you have autoimmune, you might, like what I have, Sjogren's causes a lot of dryness, dry mouth, dry eyes. Lupus causes rashes. So I was getting rashes on my chest and my face, in particular around my chin, my nose, and my forehead. So yeah, it varies from different types of autoimmune, but inflammation, you don't have to have a formal diagnosis of autoimmune to suffer from inflammation. So a lot of people have arthritis and so forth. Yeah.
Right. And I think this is a great topic for our audience, because as we age, I want to live my best life. Like, I believe the best is yet to come. And in order to do that, I think these topics are very important. And I love hearing